Okay, this is the beautiful view from our dump. Turns out that the best view of the entire area is from the dump. I don't know why it was designed that way, but it was. Okay, here's the road leading out of PMC towards us. So PMC is in the distance, and we have just come up the road a piece to go take a hike up to some meadows. And this is National Forest in this area. And the first thing we encountered is this lovely little skull here. So, there she is. Some poor critter.
The top has been sawn off. Take a look.
Has it?
The top of the skull.
Let's see. Oh yeah. Yeah, the top actually, it's been tree panned. So anyway, we are now off and running onto our hike. Okay, here we are on March 6th. Can't get through those trees very well, so I think I'll go around. 2004. Teresa is leading me on a merry hike through the underbrush here. Whoa. Where a tree is fallen across the trail. And she's on up ahead because I stopped to take a picture. You may see her there through the brush. Obviously still some snow on the ground.
Well, the trail is covered up with more downed trees, so I suggest we go around this way.
Good for me. Put some footprints in that snow.
Thank you again for last night.
You're welcome. Okay, just after a 2 or 3 minute walk, we are now up to the area where we're about to approach the lower meadow. Of course, in the springtime, this is all green, but still a lot of open dirt here. Nothing seems to want to grow in this meadow. It's certainly not too wet, but there must be something with the soil that the trees just don't like, because there really aren't any trees in the center of it at all. And it's a pretty substantial beastie, this meadow. Stretches way out there, and then there's a second meadow above this, and pretty neat area. Okay, we're about halfway into the meadow now. That's looking back towards the pass that goes out of PMC. And you can see some of the houses up on the hillside here in the mountains. Some Mount Pinos, sawmill, grouse, and Abel. And we'll land in the exact opposite direction of what we were first looking, to the pass out the other side of this valley, which leads off roughly towards Bakersfield. And here's the shot of Teresa way in the distance, continuing to go up the trail, because she knows I like to walk real fast, and she doesn't mind getting ahead of me, because otherwise I'll screw. Well, in spite of all the snow on the mountains, you can see that this meadow is actually a desert, even though just a few short days ago it itself was covered with several inches of snow. It doesn't last long here. It kind of percolates down through the soil. And you can see as we get farther up here on the meadow, it's pretty sandy. In fact, all of these plants here are not snow-oriented plants. They're desert-oriented plants. They have to go through the long drought in the spring for about 8 months to 9 months with no precipitation at all. Looking farther up the trail, there's Teresa in the distance, walking through some more of the desert area on the edge of this meadow, with the forest below, the forest above. And I'll be joining her shortly. Okay, once again the view of the pass leading out of PMC towards the 5 freeway, and the first meadow down below. Now looking at all the mountains again, across this meadow which has very little growing in it. However, we're right at the top of the meadow on the far side. Just about to go into the next area of the second meadow. And in the second meadow, you might be able to see from here, there's a lot more brush, sagebrush, and general growth in the bottom of it, more like a scrubland in that second upper meadow than in the one we just left, which is more desert-like. We stopped here on a pile of rocks at the top of that meadow right after I took the last shot. Teresa pointed out that that open area there in the distance, where there are no trees and is no high brush, was used in World War II to train our Alpine troops. In those days, as we've seen from the rings of trees that were cut down around the village here, there was a lot more snow, maybe 3-4 times as much as we get now, a lot more precipitation. So this was really a rugged area, and in those days, of course, there was no road leading through here. This whole area was just a big old ranch, and there was at most a jeep trail that ran through here at that time. So it's pretty spectacular. This is on National Forest land, I believe, and we get to just sit here and take in the view with a short 10-minute walk from the road. Oh yeah, well, up here is, let's see, there's pinos, there's sawmill, there's grouse, and that'd be able. Okay. Right. So what we've done is we've done the Four Peaks hike. First of all, let me start a little earlier. We rented a place up one of those canyons near this first peak, and it was at about 6,000 feet. The peak is about 9,000 feet, and our backyard backed to the National Forest. So right where the bottom of the mountain started going straight up practically, it was like a 45-degree angle from there. So we have hiked up on a couple of occasions up to the top of that mountain and back down. It's a day trip. Takes about 6 hours to make it unless you spend time at the top. And on other occasions, a couple of other times, we've started at the top of the peak, which you can drive up to, and then once you park, you have to walk, and you can do the Four Peaks Trail all the way from Pinos to Sawmill to Grouse here in the middle, and then finally over to Able, where there is another parking lot, and there's a campsite at either end of this trail. Another one we've done has gone up here on Grouse Mountain, up to the end of the canyon, just before the sharp rise you see. And once I hiked all the way up to the top on my own without telling anybody, and they had search parties out for me. And another time we all went together and hiked right up a waterfall, and from there straight up to the top of Grass Mountain, which is a real challenge of a climb.
Well, I didn't hike the waterfall. I knew better.
Yeah, she went around the other way, but the rest of us clambered over the loose rocks on the waterfall. Right, just at the edge of the second meadow. Show you what that looks like. It's really pretty terrain. Beautiful place just to hang out.